Special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this video possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared204 here, bringing you another Minecraft Cold War aircraft tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going ahead and building Yak-28. The Yak-28 is a swept-wing turbojet-powered combat aircraft used by the Soviet Union. Produced initially as a tactical bomber, it was also manufactured in reconnaissance, electronic warfare, interceptor, and trainer versions, known by the name reporting names as Brewer, Brewer-D, Firebar, and Maestro, respectively. Based on the Yak-129 prototype that was first flown on March 5th, 1958. It began to enter service in the 1960s. The version we have in front of us here is the Yak-28R, which was a reconnaissance version that was developed from this aircraft. The main kind of differences here are going to be a larger glassed nose in the front, as well as a bit of more advanced radar, and that really is the main gist of it. Overall, pretty interesting aircraft and should make a fun addition to your worlds if you are looking for a kind of nice mid-Cold War type build. The aircraft was retired eventually in 1992, Belarus being the last air force to operate these aircraft. So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and before we take a look at it, I do want to go ahead and give a special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel more, you already do, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions, where you go and pledge a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so, earn a vehicle request to your choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel. It is really greatly appreciated, so don't feel free to check that out. Again, link for that is going to always be in the video descriptions. With that though, let's dive in here to taking a look at the Yak-28R Brewer-D. So going ahead and taking a look at it, we have the front nose, as I mentioned earlier, this kind of glassed front nose. It's a very sleek aircraft, kind of keeping up with that early to mid Cold War design of very sleek looking aircraft. So you have the sleek fuselage here, the turbojet engines on both sides, and then it also has these, I would imagine probably fuel pods to either side of the aircraft as well. Now, we do have the cockpit right here, and I believe it is only a one-seater cockpit, but obviously you would have another, bombardier or somebody manning that frontal area. As you approach back, we have just a fuselage of the aircraft, pretty simplistic fuselage, nothing too crazy. The wings here swept back, pretty standard, and this right here is kind of an overview of what it should look like. Now, this aircraft is done up in a camo scheme, so this will be mentioned in the build. So if you are wanting to do the camo scheme, then we will talk about that a little bit. However, there are pictures of it being a solid gray, or I would say more of like that chrome silver color. However, this aircraft we have in front of us is done up in a camo scheme, which could be kind of specific more to the R variants, or just later war or later in use aircraft were done up in a camo scheme, as the kind of that silver, bright silver shiny color was phased out. Anyways though, that's kind of it for this overview. Let's go ahead and move into the tutorial. Alright guys, so moving into our first layer here, we will be going ahead and starting with layer number 3. Now this is a good layer to start with because we will be going ahead and get a nice basis of the aircraft built. So that is kind of our goal here for this layer. If you are completely new to my aircraft tutorials, the way I like to structure these tutorials, I like to do half on camera, half off. What this means is we're rebuilding the center line of the aircraft and then the right side. It'll be up to you guys in between layers to take the right side and copy it over to the left side. This aircraft is symmetrical, so whatever we do on one side will be done to the other. One thing also, in case you missed it in the title, this is only going to be the in-flight tutorial as well. The aircraft does sit at quite a considerable angle in real life, so I went ahead and made a decision to basically not do a landed version due to the fact that it would need to be slanted, and otherwise the landing gear just wouldn't look proper on this aircraft. So that is the reason why we are going without landing gear, and the reason why this is only an in-flight aircraft for this tutorial. Anyways though, let's go ahead and get started with here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to place down 2 of these polished direct full blocks. We're going to go ahead and go forward from these blocks. Now depending on what game version you're on, if you're on Java, if you're on Bedrock, Java players, you can go ahead and place down 2 pistons upside down if you have access to commands. So you want that wood facing toward the bottom here. Now, if you are not on Java, then you can go ahead and use the replacement of placing down a polished direct full block and a polished direct top slab. Both of these techniques will work, but the pistons here are obviously going to be the better use, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But again, Java players will place down those pistons if you have access to commands, and then for everybody else, you'll be going ahead and placing that polished direct full block in the top slab. After those 2 blocks, we're going to place down 2 more top slabs, and then a dark oak trapdoor there on the very end. With that done, going toward the opposite direction, so that's our front of the aircraft, we're going to go and place down a row of green terracotta. This row is going to be quite a long row here, basically being a total of 22 blocks back. So after you have your 22 blocks, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 3 of polished diorite. And then we want to place down 2 polished diorite walls, followed by a dark oak trapdoor on the very end there. After that is all complete, we're going to go and start working our way out to the sides now. On this first piston, or this third top slab, however, whatever blocks you have placed, you're going to place down another skeleton skull, followed by a zombie head, and then we're going to place down 2 green stained glass panes back. We then want to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 of these dark prismarine stairs back, and then we're going to place down 1 and 2 dark prismarine top slabs to finish it off there toward the rear of the aircraft. And that right there is going to complete everything we have there for the fuselage for layer 3. So pretty simple stuff for the fuselage, nothing too crazy. At this point though, we will be going ahead and building to the sides of it. So we want to first start off, we're going to go ahead and go to the third upside down stair here from the front. And we just want to go ahead and build out a total of 3 blocks out to the side. So 3 blocks out. And then we're going to place down an iron trapdoor on the end here. We then want to go ahead and go back from the iron trapdoor with a diorite top slab. We're going to go ahead and then place down 2 upside down pistons for Java players. Again, if you're not a Java player with commands, you'll be going ahead and probably placing down a polished diorite top slab and a polished diorite full block would work instead. We're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 polished diorite full blocks back. This space right here is going to be a upside down piston again. Again, an alternative here would probably be a polished diorite upside down stair. So you would have the stair kind of facing that direction there. And then a polished diorite top slab. After that, we're just going to go ahead and place down a dark oak trapdoor back from the top slab. Once we have that all done there, we want to go ahead and grab ourselves some white stained glass panes, as well as some diorite walls, and also some skeleton skulls. On the side of these 2 pistons here, we're going to place down skeleton skulls. And then going back from that, we're going to place down 2 white stained glass panes on both sides. We then want to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 diorite walls, and then 2 white stained glass panes back, and then a skeleton skull here on the side of this block. Same thing will be done over here with our diorite walls going back, as well as our white stained glass panes and our skeleton skull. And that right there is going to basically wrap up what we have there for this kind of first section here, which is basically the bottom there of our turbojets. Now, after we get to this point, we want to go ahead and go to our first wall. We're going to go and skip a space, and our second block out to the side here, we're going to place down a polished diorite top slab. So it will look like this here. We're going to go ahead and place down an iron trapdoor going forward from it, and then going back from it, we're going to go ahead and again use our pistons. And again, if you don't have access to pistons, I would place down a diorite top slab and a diorite full block instead. After those pistons, we're going to go ahead and then place down a row of 4 of diorite full blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we then want to place down another piston. Instead of this piston here, you could also place down a polished diorite top slab as well. And then a top slab coming off that block, like so. And that right there is going to complete what we have there for layer number 1. Or layer number 3, I should say. Take a look at it from above here. This is what we should have for the top-down view. Once you take the right side, copy it over to the left side. One thing also I'd like to quickly mention is that if you are wanting to build this in the camo scheme, we will be talking about the camo a little bit later in the tutorial near the end. So that will be something we'll talk about later. We'll be building this in a solid green color scheme, and then talking about that camouflage add-on a little bit later. Just makes it a little bit easier to do the tutorial using kind of that solid color. Anyways, though, with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and move down to layers 1 and 2. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layers number 1 and 2. For these layers here, we're going to start off by going ahead and going to the bottom here. We're going to go and go to this first green terracotta block. We're going to place down an iron trapdoor on the bottom of it. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, and 3 more back, so you have a total of 4. We then want to place down a upside down polished diorite stair, a polished diorite full block, and on the bottom of this block, we are going to place down an iron trapdoor. After that, we're going to place down our polished diorite full block, and then a upside down piston like so. An alternative to the piston here would be a polished diorite upside down stair like so on the side there. We're going to go ahead and place down a polished diorite top slab after that block there. And then we want to place down a row of iron trap doors. This row is going to run all the way along the bottom of those green terracotta blocks, a total of 13 iron trap doors in length. Once you get to these 2 polished diorite blocks here, you're going to place down 2 polished diorite walls coming down, or 2 diorite walls I should say, and then 2 polished diorite top slabs after those walls, and that right there is going to round off the back there. With that all complete, we're going to go ahead and then focus our attention back here to the this little pod here. This right here is going to be a skeleton skull on both sides of the stair, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 white stained glass panes along the side, and then on the side of this block here, also a skeleton skull. For Java players, we'll go ahead and type in the command /give at p minecraft :debug _stick, press enter, and we'll go ahead and then right click this piston. You may have to left click it, but you want the prompt selected extended true to pop up, and then giving it a simple right click will basically get rid of that wood portion. And it really helps kind of with the shaping here for the aircraft, and you'll see that we'll be using the same technique for the pistons. However, we will not update the pistons yet, because if you place a block above them or around them, it will cause those pistons to revert back to the wood, so we're just going to go and leave those alone for right now. But just make sure you keep the debug stick handy if you are using that tool, as we will be using it throughout the rest of the build. Anyways though, that's it for this layer. Let's go ahead and move on to our next with layer number 4. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 4. For layer 4 to get started with here, we're going to begin with placing down a black stained glass block that's going to go on top of this dark oak wood trapdoor here. We're going to go ahead and place down a mossy cobblestone wall forward, a dark oak wood fence gate, 2 end rods, and then a chain there on the very end to go ahead and form that front nose like so. After this glass block, we're going to place down 1, 2 glass blocks back, and then a black concrete block right here on top of that piston. From that, we're going to go ahead and then go back 3 green terracotta, another black concrete block, and we're going to go ahead and then take our green terracotta, build a long row all the way back to this dark oak wood trapdoor on the end here. Should be a total of 28 blocks in length, and then a mossy cobblestone wall on the very end. And that right there is going to form the center line there of the aircraft. Moving out to the sides here, we're going to go ahead and begin with by going ahead and taking our dark oak wood buttons. We're going to place down a dark oak wood button on both sides of this first glass block, as well as 2 black stained glass panes back, another brick wall, mossy cobblestone wall, and then 1, 2 green terracotta blocks, a black stained glass block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 green terracotta blocks back, a mossy cobblestone wall, green stained glass pane, and a dark oak wood trapdoor closed flat along the side there of that green terracotta block to go ahead and round off the back there. With that done, we're going to go ahead and then continue to work our way out to the sides. We're going to go ahead and go to our 4th green terracotta block after that black stained glass block. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to place down an iron trapdoor there at the side. We're going to go back an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 iron trapdoors. And then come off the side of this 3rd from front, we're going to place down an iron trapdoor again. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 iron trapdoors back from that. We then want to take our mossy cobblestone walls. We're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coming off those iron trapdoors. Going toward the front, we're going to place down 2 more walls as well as 2 glass panes, and that should bring us even there with that iron trapdoor here for this engine. We're going to then go to the back here, and we're going to go ahead and build this back 2 mossy cobblestone walls, then a green stained glass pane, and then we want to very simply place down a black stained glass pane here like that. After that is done there, we want to go ahead and then place down a polished black stone wall coming off this glass pane, and then a black concrete block directly behind that. Also coming off this wall, we're going to place down a skeleton skull going forward. Going back from this green terracotta block, we're going to place down, or that black concrete block, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 green terracotta blocks back. And then if you want the engines turned on, which probably for this in-flight version you're going to want to do, we're going to place down a glowstone block and then an orange stained glass block directly after that, like that. You could swap out this orange stained glass and the glowstone block there for black to kind of close this off, make it look like it's turned off, but for this aircraft flying, most likely you're going to want these engines turned on. Anyways though, after that we're going to go ahead and then place down a green stained glass pane coming off this wall here, then 1 pane forward, and then we're going to go and go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 walls back. a green stained glass pane, and a black stained glass pane directly after that. Once we have that all done, we're going to take our iron trapdoor, starting on this wall here. Iron trapdoor to the side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 going forward, so a total of 6 there. We then want to go ahead and place down a dark prismarine upside down stair that's going to come off this last iron trapdoor here, and we're going to place down 1 iron trapdoor back from that stair. We're going to go then take our green terracotta, go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or rather, sorry, just go forward a total of 6, and then we're going to go and then place down 1, 2 pistons like that, followed by a dark prismarine slab like this, and then we want to place down a dark ochre trapdoor on top of that iron trapdoor. So just like that there. After that, going back to our iron trapdoors here, we're going to go ahead and place down 1 iron trapdoor coming off this one. We're going to go back 1, and then we want to go forward 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then from this, we're going to go ahead and go off of the third one, so this middle iron trapdoor, 1 out to the side, and we're going to go back a total of 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. So you have a total of 4. We then want to go ahead and go to the second iron trapdoor. We're going to place down 1 to the side there, and we're going to go ahead and go back 3 as well. 1, 2, 3. After that is done there, we're going to go ahead and go to the third iron trapdoor from the front, so this one here, iron trapdoor to the side, and we're going to go ahead and then go back 2 more. So you have a total of 3 there. Anyways, that right there is going to complete what we have that for there, all set up and good to go. At this point in time, though, we will go ahead and use our debug stick again, so Java players, and we will go ahead and go to each one of these pistons, and we're going to go ahead and just right-click them. So we're going to do the same technique that we did before on that bottom there, but this time to every single piston that we have placed so far. And what you're going to end up getting here is a really nice looking shape for a lot of these pylons, a lot of these bottom section of the engine, and also the front here of the fuselage. Again, just kind of helps that nice transition look a little more smoother. Anyways, though, that right there is going to conclude everything we have here for this layer. At this point in time, we will be going ahead and moving on to our next layer, which will be layer 5. Again, here is an aerial overview of what it should look like from the top-down view with this layer complete. And with that, again, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 5. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer 5. For layer 5, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a daylight detector, turn it to night mode on top of this glass block, and we're going to then go back to narrow brick slabs. From that, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 pistons for Java players. If you're not on Java, a alternative to this would probably be a dark prismarine slab here, or actually, rather a nether brick stair, or nether brick slab here, and then a green terracotta block instead would be the alternative here to these 2 blocks. However, we will be placing down the pistons for Java players. We're going to go ahead and place down 3 green terracotta blocks, and then after this, we want to go ahead and then place down a row of 4 of black concrete. This right here is where the cockpit of the aircraft is going to sit, so we will be filling this in with black concrete to fill it in from the outside. If you do want to have an interior, you're more than welcome to try to make one. It is a very tight space, but again, you can use that space of 4 there to try to make one if you want. After that, though, we're going to go ahead and then place down a row of green terracotta. It's going to go all the way to the back here, a total of 23 blocks, and then a dark prismarine slab on the very end. After that's all done, we want to go ahead and then place down a row of 2 of zombie heads on the side of those pistons, then 2 green stained glass panes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or rather, sorry, 5 dark prismarine stairs. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green terracotta blocks back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stairs back, and then 1 and 2 dark prismarine slabs, like that, to go ahead and bring us to the rear. After that's all done there, we're going to go ahead and then place down a daylight detector on top of this iron trapdoor, and we're going to go ahead and then go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these dark prismarine slabs, 2 daylight detectors again, and we then want to place down 2 dark ochre trapdoors. Now right here, again, depending on what you got going on here, this will cause some problems. Now, using the daylight detectors, you will have these iron trapdoors open up. Now, there are a few options to fix this. The first being is you can simply turn the daylight detectors there to night mode. I don't really prefer this method. I don't think it looks as good as keeping it on the day mode with the green, at least in my personal opinion. So I do like to leave it on this kind of day setting. Now, the problem is, though, is that our trapdoor will open. Now, this trapdoor could be replaced with a birchwood trapdoor and closed manually. That's not a problem. However, the kind of best option, and option again for Java players here, is going to be use the debug stick. You can left click the open trapdoor until you get selected open. It should say true. And then we can right click it and manually close it. And same thing can be done here for the back. Just make sure that you are careful if you do have the daylight cycle on, or if you do change the time to a night time and it does activate or mess with the redstone on these daylight detectors, it will mess up with those trapdoors. So just keep that in mind going forward. So those are a couple alternatives of what you could do there underneath those daylight detectors. We're going to go and place down another one right here. And we're going to go and then this time take our dark prismarine stairs. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stairs back. Another daylight detector. And another 2 dark oak wood trapdoors back. We're going to place down a mossy cobblestone wall here coming off the front here of the stair. So like that. Then we're going to go back a total of 1, 2, 3 dark prismarine slabs. And then again, taking our daylight detectors, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 all on the side here. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a dark oak wood trapdoor here on the very end. Now at this point we do get into our engine area. This here is going to be covered with a dark oak wood trapdoor on top of that skeleton skull. A daylight detector back from that. Make sure that trapdoor does stay closed. And then a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 of these prismarine slabs back. Another piston, or not piston, but a daylight detector. And then a dark oak wood trapdoor coming off that daylight detector. We're going to make sure that sits closed like that. After that is all done there, we're going to go and then place down a dark oak wood trapdoor coming off this slab here. So that's second to last slab. We're going to go and then go forward from it with 5 daylight detectors. Make sure that trapdoor again remains closed, and then another dark oak wood trapdoor here on top of that wall. After that, we're going to place down a trapdoor on the side of this daylight detector here, and then 2 daylight detectors back from that, and then a row of 1, 2, and 3 of dark oak wood trapdoors back. Our next row here is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 daylight detectors, with that going forward. We then want to go ahead and go to these 2 right here, and we're going to place down 2 more like that out to the side. We're going to go and then grab ourselves some green carpet. We're going to place down a green carpet on these 2 iron trapdoors, as well as this one up here in the front. We're going to place down a green carpet here, and then we want to go ahead and then grab ourselves a red carpet, and we're going to place it on top of that iron trapdoor there, and then we're going to go ahead and go back 2 green carpets back like that. Now once we get to this point, on top of these daylight detectors, or these iron trapdoors, we're going to place down 2 daylight detectors again, a dark oak wood trapdoor right behind this daylight detector here, and then a green carpet. We'll be going ahead and then grab our end rods, and we're going to place down a row of 4 of end rods going forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a chain on the very end of the last end rod like that. And lastly here, we will be going ahead and placing down our green carpets on the last 3 iron trapdoors like that to the side. Now again, as I mentioned before, you will be going ahead and taking your debug stick here, if applicable, and going ahead and resetting these iron trapdoors. Again, these trapdoors can be replaced with birch wood, or the daylight detectors can be turned to the night mode instead. So again, a couple options for you. And also these 2 pistons up here in the front will also be converted to that design there with the tops removed. Anyway, so that is going to complete everything we have there for layer 5. Taking a look at it from above, this is what we should have for the top-down view. With that all complete, that's going to wrap up this layer. Let's move on to layer number 6. Moving into our next layer here, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to start off with a simple redstone repeater on top of this green terracotta block here. So these 2 notches are together and pointed toward the rear. We're going to go ahead and skip 2 spaces, place down an air brick slab, then 1, 2, 3 black stained glass blocks, and then we're going to place down a piston here right after those black stained glass blocks. We're going to go back 1, 2, 3 dark prismarine slabs, and then at this space right here, I do believe this is actually supposed to be an air slab, so I'm going to go and swap that to a slab there. I think that was a mess up there, but yeah, we're going to have an air slab, so that's 5 and then 6 of these dark prismarine slabs like this running back. We're going to go ahead and place down a dark prismarine stair here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more slabs back from that stair. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 more pistons, like so, and then a row of green terracotta, going back like this, a total of 8, and then a green stained glass pane there on the very end. What we're going to go and do next is for Java players, we will go ahead and take our debug stick here, and for the pistons, we'll go ahead and swap these over. Now, a good alternative to this section here, instead of those pistons, would probably be a green terracotta block here, and then a prismarine slab instead of those pistons. And also up here in the front, I'd probably place down like a nether brick stair facing this direction instead of that piston. Anyways, though, to the sides, we're going to go ahead and place down a wither skeleton skull at a slight angle like that on top of that stair. We then want to go ahead and place down a green stained glass pane. And after that, we're going to go ahead and place down 1 and 2 black stained glass panes back, like that, as well as a zombie head on both sides of this piston right there. We will also alter this piston again using our debug stick. And the last thing we have to do here is we're going to go ahead and go to the side of this stair here, and we're going to go ahead and place down a zombie head like this to the side, and then a zombie head going forward from it like this on this green terracotta block. So it should look like that there on both sides there of the spine of the fuselage. With that all complete, though, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer number 6, and with that we'll probably just be going ahead and moving into our last final layers here of the build. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our final layers here, we have layers 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into layers 7 through 11. For these layers to begin with, we're going to place down a Dark Goku trapdoor on this middle glass block here, and that's going to finish off the cockpit, and we are done with this area of the aircraft. The rest of the work here is going to be done strictly on the tail. We're going to go ahead and go to the third green terracotta block here, so this one right here. Again, just make sure that if you place down a green terracotta block instead of this piston right here, it's going to be your fourth one back. If it's your the pistons, it's going to be your third block back. So just right here in this section right here. We're going to place down 2 prismarine slabs, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green terracotta blocks back. On top of the second green terracotta block, we're going to place down a prismarine stair, then a total of 3 blocks behind that, and then a green stained glass pane. Going up from this block here, we're going to place down another stair. We're going to go back from that with 3 green terracotta blocks. On top of this first block here, we're going to place down another stair going up, red concrete, green terracotta, and a green stained glass pane. We're going to go up from the red concrete, another stair, and 2 green stained glass panes back from that. After that is all complete there, we're going to go and take our iron trapdoors, and we want to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3 trapdoors here along this section, so like that. We're going to go ahead and then go from those trapdoors, we're going to go off the middle one, 1, 2, 3, out to the side here of the middle one, 1, 2, 3 again, and one more time, 1, 2, 3. So just like that, going back on the sides there. We then want to take our daylight detectors. We're going to place down 1, 2, and then we're going to place down 1, 2, and then 1. We'll take our Dark Goku trapdoors, and on the remaining iron trapdoors, we're just going to place down Dark Goku trapdoors. Underneath here, again, same thing will apply. We can use our debug stick here to close those trapdoors, or you can again replace them with birchwood trapdoors, or you can use the you can turn the daylight detectors there to the night mode. Anyways, though, that right there is going to complete the in-flight version here for the Yak-28R Brewer-D. And at this point in time, we will be going ahead and moving in to talk about the camouflage. As I mentioned before, we do not have any landing gear here for this aircraft since this is strictly the in-flight version. But with that, let's go ahead and talk about the camouflage and what you can do to go ahead and spice up your own brewer. Alright guys, so when it comes to the camouflage, it's pretty straightforward what we have going on here. It may look a little bit complex, but it really isn't anything too difficult. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there are different color schemes you can go with. I've seen some just in a flat green color like we did in the tutorial, some that are kind of more of a silverish color that I would recommend probably using polished andesite for, or stone, and then you have some here that are actually done up in a camo scheme, which I think is the cooler version. That's what we went ahead and went with here. I think camos are always a nice way to add some more detail here to an otherwise pretty plain and generic aircraft, and this design here this coloring really came through. Now, what we have going on here is we have a 3-tone color scheme. Now, we did not mess with any of the polished diorite, so any diorite or iron trapdoors here on the bottom, you're not going to go and mess with. You're going to leave that as is. We do want that white coloration on the bottom of the aircraft. However, everything else that was done up in the green or the dark prismarine is fair game. We used a total of 3 colors. We have obviously the green as our main kind of coat, and then we have 2 other colors mixed into it. We have a lighter brown, which is done with the stripped spruce wood stairs, spruce wood trapdoors, and brown carpet. We then have the lighter color, which is the tan, which is done up with our smooth sandstone, stairs slabs, yellow stained glass panes, birchwood trapdoors, and I don't think there's any carpet used. If we did use carpet or have the camouflage in the carpeted area, you'd probably want to use yellow carpet as it's the closest shade to the tan. Also, we did use some brown stained glass panes here and there as well for that brown color. And that is pretty much the main idea behind the camouflage. And kind of give you some views here. I'm not going to go through it block by block to show you guys, but you're basically just kind of putting in some splotches here and there throughout the aircraft. It's not anything in particular. Some sections here, like on the tail or the empennage of the aircraft, it does kind of wrap around like a candy cane in terms of its camo scheming, but especially here in the fuselage, it seemed like it was definitely a little more like splotted in comparison to what was that on the tail. But yeah, you can see basically what we have going on here. If you need to, you can obviously pause the video at any points if you do want to copy my camouflage here exactly. This is kind of based off of real color schemes I've seen and real pictures, so this is what we were trying to go for, and I think we've captured it pretty well overall for this build. And again, you are free to look at other pictures of this aircraft and feel free to modify it however you feel fit, whether you just keep it green, whether you go ahead and put on the polished andesite, make it more of a silver color. Those are all definitely options here to do for this build. But again, some few different angles here that you can go ahead and kind of replicate the camouflage on your own version if you do want to do that. And again, here's a aerial view of what it looks like from the top-down view. You can see I did reflect it on both sides, so the same design is on both sides of the aircraft. For the camouflage, realistically, both sides would probably be different, so you may want to take that into account. But realistically, I don't think it really matters when it comes to the build if both sides are the same. Anyways, though, that is going to finish off my talk about the camouflage, and with that is going to finish off my tutorial here for the Yak-28R Brewer-D Reconnaissance / medium bomber. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This will be a link from a sign on the build, link to my channel, or this video if this does appear in social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free for a project you guys are working on. Again, a big special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. As always, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video description, where you can earn some cool perks, such as being able to request your vehicle you really want. Every month you are a patron, depending on your tier. So definitely feel free to check that out. Again, link for that is always in my video descriptions. With that, though, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is McGarrett204, and I'll see you guys next time.